Alright guys, in this video I'm going to teach you how to put these Amazon wheels together. They're aluminum 2.2s. They turn out to be a really nice set of wheels. Alright YouTube, today's episode, I'm going to take one of these old bead locks that come off the E10. I've already popped this one apart. Kind of give you an idea what's going on. My son, they're plastic. He busted the center out of them last time we went on the trail. One wheel fell off. I didn't have any with me, of course, so these tires are different size than anything else I owned at the time. Long story short, I ended up having to go back to the truck, put the truck up. Thank goodness I always take a spare 24 scale with me. So I got to drive 24 scale while the wife and kid got to drive the 10 scales. So these are your Amazon wheels. They're pretty sharp. If you notice down here in the center, they've only put 2 screws in it. They do that for the bead lock. They do that for the rear lock ring. They also do that for this center right here. This center is separate from this shell. So each one of them only has 2 screws in it. I put a bunch of these together. This is the screws I have left over. There's my hand for reference. For having 3 wheels put together. I've already put them together. And yes, they are pretty slick. I'm going to pair them with a pretty awesome body. I'll probably do that on the next video. But anyway, I just want to give you a real quick once through. Long story short, these are the foams that come with these tires. These are also Amazon or eBay tires. They're the knockoff mudslingers. 2.2 rim, 4.9 tall, 2.2 wide. So they're a little wider than your normal tire. That makes them a little harder to put on these bead locks. These bead locks are a little wide, but they're not quite that wide. So it makes it real interesting. One of the things that I think you need for sure is one of these drills. You will flat ruin your finger trying to turn these daggone Allen wrenches in here. So the big screws, they take a 2.0 millimeter hex. And then the little screws, I think take the little one here. Try to remember. Yes, so the little ones take a 1.27 millimeter hex. So there's a whole lot of work goes into this, really. Doesn't look like it, but there is. So I'm gonna take the back apart really quick here. This back lock ring is what has to come off to be able to put your tires on. These screws are the same that hold the centers in. These centers are aluminum as well. So if you take one out, technically you can flip right over. Sit it right back in the center. Get it close. Torque it with your hand. Don't sit there and crank down on it with a battery powered driver of any sort. You will strip them out, I promise. You see, you pop that apart. There's your back lock ring. Then here's your actual center that makes it a double bead lock. It's like the old military double bead locks. I don't know if any of y'all ever fooled with them back in the day, but they run them on 510s predominantly. Also had them in the 16.5s on the Humvees. I used to fool some of that stuff in my time of younger years, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Back when I had money, I built a big old truck on 53s, square body Chevrolet. I've actually still got it. My kid is a monster truck nut, so I think I'm going to put it back together. I got some 67-inch tires to put on it. Got some centers cut for the wheels, just haven't had time to try to weld them in. So I might make a video on that coming in the near future too. Try to put that big hump back together. It's no motor in it. Can't remember if the transmission's even still in it anymore. Transfer case is there. Rear end's under it, but front end's not. So anyway, so I took my hex. I've run all 6 of these in here in the center. Like I said, those are just the big size. So there's actually 3 different sizes. Now that I'm here in the video, I should be able to show you a little better, but so, dang, it's hard to show. You have a, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it to focus. I'm trying here, guys, sorry. Alright, so that's a good, yeah. That's it. That's your big one. Then there's 2 little bitty ones. The little bitty one that matches that design, that one, those are the ones that go in your bead on the outside for your outside lock ring. And sitting here staring at it, probably comes off. Probably. Then there's also these little dudes. Now those little dudes actually go in the back here. Every other hole, one of those goes in. So you can see they got one here. I don't know if you can see, I'm saying you can see, but so they have one screw here, and then they have one screw here, and none of these other holes have them. So if these holes are blank, these holes are threaded. The threaded holes, of course, is where your rear ring here is going to go on after you put your tire on. You'll thread those into the threaded holes. So for those, you need your little bitty nut driver, hex driver, whatever. And my opinion, you take these, put them on your hex, and you run them in there finger tight by hand. You do not ever hook the electric to them. If you cross thread them at all, they'll be trashed. So just go around the rim, put them in. I'm going to pause and then come back to this so y'all don't have to bear with me through all this. But put all of these in and then go back and torque them. Then flip it over and do the next thing. The only way you're going to get these right is if you do them one at a time. Put your finger here as a marker. Say this is the first one I tighten up. And then you just go around to each one of them. That way you don't skip one. Come all the way back up to 0. Make sure it's still tight. That is the only way you're going to make sure these things are torqued. If you try to cross pattern them like you normally would with an automotive wheel, there's so many of them, I'm telling you, you'll forget. Alright guys, I've stuck the screws in this thing. So now I'm going to flip it over. Remember, it's going to be every other hole. So spin this thing around where I can see anyway. There's a screw here. Very hard to see, so that means one's going to go here. Not here, here. Not there. Already one there. Not there, one there. Okay. Then it's going to tighten her up. Remember, don't actually use the power on these things. They will not survive it. I will go back and count how many screws are in these jewels. A lot is the right answer. I really can't remember, but I put 3 of them together the other night and my fingers were done. I was like, man, I'll just give up. Go on to the next thing. Plus, I really need to get this YouTube channel going again. I hadn't done anything in a long time. My kid's really interested in doing a YouTube, so maybe he's got the patience this time. I've tried to do this off and on for about 2 years, and anything to do with him, he just gets disinterested really quick. So that's all there is to it. I'd already checked the 2, make sure they were tight from the factory. But so there's that. It's got all your screws in there. Next thing you got to do, you got to get your tire. We've already stuck the foam in it real quick early on. This lock ring ends up down in the center of this. You got to feed it in. Spray on the tire. Get it right in the center of that foam. And then get your foam worked around right. You know, you want to make sure your foam seats in the right spot. Your foam's cut out on these tires, which is really good. That way you can get your rim in it. And then you need to make sure you put them on the right way because they are directional. So, got one there, 2 there. That means it's got to match this one. So, for it to match, I need to go in from this side. Okay. Now, I'm not saying this is going to be easy because it was hard the other night. This is what I call the hard part. Is getting these 5 screws in. It's usually the first one. After the first one, you got her leaked. So I'm going to go on and put it on my nut driver. You got to look down in here and find your threads, which is the one that does not have a screw in it. And you got to line these holes up with that. And I've already got it messed up. Right there, the beads popped out. So I need to slide it back apart and get it seated correctly. Once you get it seated correctly, it'll go right together. Well, I say right together. It did not go right together the other night. Be honest with you, it was embarrassing at times. And this may turn into that. But you got to index that just right. Slide her together. I'm going to set it down on this table. And kind of and you can see my tire popping out. I actually didn't have as much trouble as this with the other ones. I had a lot of trouble trying to get the screw in, but not get the tire pushed together. I guess it's because I done it with my hand and just toughed it out. You really got to hold the center of the rim. And what I'm doing when I'm laying it down is probably not holding the center of the rim. It's probably pushing against it. But you want to get your tire seated. You want to make sure it's seated right. Then look and see if you think it's going to line up. If not, then move it around. You got to push on just the rim. If you push on the rubber of the tire, it will come unseated. Okay, I've got it about. And the tire popped out, of course. So anyway, I'm not going to belittle you at this point too much here. I'm just going to keep fighting with it. I'm sure there's easier ways if you look on YouTube than just doing it by hand, but I don't know what they are. Anyway, pause it, see if I can get it together. Alright guys, no transitions needed here. But what ended up being the best, I set that thing on one of the old rims. I think I might actually get something out of it. See if I can show this to you a little bit or not, but it is super, super hard. And I'm going to use my powered driver here to get it down real close. See if I can get it. Okay, that one started. I'm going to put this one here. Well, that one ain't started. I thought for sure that was going to go. So, it's pushing the bead back out. I'm going to have to pop it back apart and do it again, but that's the closest I've got to it. And last time it did take me 2 or 3 times. I'm trying to show you on video, but I had it up against my chest, pushing it together with my hand and my chest together, and then running the drill against my chest. So, anyhow. Alright guys, I finally got that jewel did. That was a lot rougher than it should have been. But there it is. And I didn't count, but it's 5 here, 6 here, and 5 on this back side is 16, and then all these little ones around the front. And I really don't know. I'll try to count them here real quick. So I come up with 18 little screws around it. Pair that with a 16, and that's 34 screws. It took me, no lie, probably about 15, 16 minutes. And like I said, I done 3 of these last night. Crazy. But these are pretty good tires. They're the knockoff, I'm going to call them mudslingers, off of Amazon or eBay. They're pretty cheap. That's them next to Sin Racing tires for the Sin 275 monster truck. This is on my son's Gen 7, by the way. He got this old junk Stampede body on it because he rips the bodies off everything. So my next video is going to be real quick, putting these tires on it, putting that on it. And here's a quick picture of what they look like sunk down in the mud. My kid done this at the Jessamine Gorge. We're local to it. Great place to drive RC. So thanks guys. Like, subscribe, ring that bell button. Get notified. Appreciate it.